There's not a lot of documentation on how to import custom models in Half-Life Alyx, so I figured I'd make a tutorial for it. Sorry for the weird accent. First, download the model. Go to your add-in folder. You know it's this one because it's under the content folder, where all your uncompiled files are going to be. Open the models folder, and feel free to create any subfolders if you need to. Put the model files in there. Open the materials folder at the root of your add-in and use the same folder hierarchy as in the models folder. This is where you're going to put your texture files. Now it's time to open Model Dock. Click on the little star, then on Add Meshes. Fetch your 3D model in the models folder. Nothing appears, but it says needs compiling. You have to click on this button every time you make a significant change to the model. This window will pop up. Save the model somewhere. Boom! It looks like shit. You can hover around by right-clicking on the preview and using WSAD. Now you need to tell Source 2 where the textures are. Click on Add. This window appears. We can add any kind of properties to the object. We need to add a default material group. The thing is, we don't have any materials. Let's do that now. Open up the material editor, create a new material. Save it where your textures are, in the materials folder. Browse the corresponding textures. If your material is a PBR material, then you need a color or a diffuse texture, a normal map, a roughness map, and possibly a metalness map. If no textures show up when you browse them, it might be because the material editor is looking for the wrong suffix. Just click here to change it. It might be a bit laggy depending on the resolution of your texture. Do this for all the textures that you need. Finally, if you need a metalness texture, tick this box. If your material has a constant metalness value, just use this slider. In this case, the metalness map is completely black, so importing it would be silly. We leave the value to 0. It will be easier on the RAM. Now save it! Do this for as many materials as you need for your models. Go back to Model Dock. Click on the magnifying glass to select the material that you need. Feel free to set it so only the files from your add-on show up. Compile it and voila! You can change the preview to see how it looks under more realistic lighting conditions. Beautiful! Game of the fucking year, bitch! You can set it to a physics prop if you want it to have physics. Compile it, fix the warning, bam! It still needs collisions. Add a physics hole file for simple collisions. At this point, a window will pop up asking you to select a physics model. Set the surface property. This is important. The mass and sound effect of the objects will be calculated automatically. Try and find something that matches the object. In my case, the object was way too big, so I changed the scale in both properties. It still weighs 300 kilos. That's a lot. That's because it draws a fat box around the object and thinks that anything inside of it is full of that object. It shouldn't be a problem with most objects, but right now it is. I ended up manually modeling an awful physics mesh of the object, making sure that every bit was a separate element. I imported it as a phys mesh in Model Dock, and set it to hole per element. I played around with the surface until I found a math that was correct. Then you can edit the prop data, which will change how the prop behaves in-game. You have to tick these boxes if you want to be able to use the mesh as a static prop. Now you can finally import it in Hammer. It even works with physics! Now, you do all these steps for an entire fucking level!